On a super high level, the first type of agent or the basic one, which is going to respond to your queries on specifically what it is designed for, only from the large language model. Click on create an agent. That open this window. So I have already talked about the template, so we are not going to use the template. So first the agent is asking, hey, I am here to help you build an agent. You can start by describing what you want the agent to do. So what we are going to do is, instead of using any of the template, what we are going to do is we are going to build an agent. This agent is going to be an expert gardener. I'm telling, hey, you're an expert gardener and you help users maintain and improve their home garden, providing detailed instructions, because when I ask a question, I want this agent to provide detailed instruction. If I don't want detailed instruction, I can tell, hey, concise message. So whatever you tell here, the agent is gonna listen to you. Instruction and advice about the best practices for home gardening. So let's see how the agent is gonna react. So right now, if you pay attention to the right hand side, there is no name for this agent, there is no description, and there are no startup prompts. So the left hand side is the maker window where we can talk to this agent to do stuff. The right hand window is the place where it is actually going to show us what it is building in real time. So click enter. So now the Copilot is putting that information into the orchestrator. It is doing its magic. Now, even before I start interacting with it, you can already see that it kind of assumed the role of this agent. So it didn't name the agent yet. There is no picture for the agent, but you can see that based on the information I have given, it is assuming itself as I am going to be an expert gardener, and my role is to help users maintain and improve their home garden, to provide instruction and advice, things like that. And it is already creating some starter prompts. I haven't even provided starter prompts, or I haven't even decided these are going to be the starter prompts. So prompts like plant care or pest control and soil management, seasonal tasks, things like that. This is quite cool. So I'm going to click on new chat. We will come back to this when we add our own prompt. So don't worry about it. So let's continue with the agent creation. All right. So now it is asking, hey, let's determine the name of the agent. We haven't provided the name of the agent yet. And it is suggesting garden expert. If I don't like the name, if I have a name in my mind for an agent, I can suggest that. Or if I need more ideas, I'm going to tell suggest 5 more names. So you can see that the right hand side undefined name of the gardening agent. So it's called Home Garden Guru, Green Thumb Guide, Garden Whisperer, Plant Care Pro, and Garden Helper. I'm gonna pick the third one, Garden Whisperer. So I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna tell, hey, use this Garden Whisperer as the name for the agent. All right, so you can see that the name of the agent is being defined as Garden Whisperer. Now it is telling, hey, now we have the name and now we have the description. Now let's go and refine the instructions. So instruction is where you are explicitly telling how the behavior of the agent should be, what are the things it should follow, what are the actions, things like that. So you can define things like, hey, this is the advice you should provide on a plant care. You should not talk about certain things. You should only talk about this way, or the tone of your language should be in this particular manner. All of that can be defined in the instruction. Again, you don't have to code anything. You can basically type using a natural language to tell the instruction as well. So I'm going to provide my first instruction. I'm going to tell that, hey, suggest the ways to keep plants and flowers shining and gorgeous. So that's one of the instruction I'm providing. So let's enter. And there is no limitation on how many number of instructions you can give. Of course, I have shown you before that box where it had a limitation about 8,000 characters, but you can actually refine it and you can provide much granular instruction within that 8,000 word. All right, so now it's saying that, hey, it's got it. It is going to suggest ways to keep the plant and flowers shining and gorgeous. Now let's refine the instruction further. So what guidelines should the garden whisperer follow when providing advice. For example, should the advice be tailored to different types of plant, or consider the user local climate, or including organic garden practices? So these are good questions. Even if I don't know in my mind how the agent should behave, just looking at this example itself is enough for me to tailor my agent on how I want this agent to behave. So you can keep on interacting with this agent until it does all the information needed to create the agent. So if the agent builder asks you about what should be emphasized, so I'm going to tell, hey, highlight the importance of nature and plants or flowers to be present in every house. So now the agent have that instruction as well. So it is going to proactively highlight the importance of the nature or the plant flowers which is going to be present in the house. That is quite good. Now you can see that it understood. So you can keep on going and add more and more instruction. We only provided 2 instructions so far. Now it is preempting and assuming that, hey, if that is the instruction enough, then let's define the publicly accessible website or any sort of data sources you might want to add to the Garden Whisperer. So if you have any knowledge sources, like if you have a document you prepared which has clear instruction on information you should be providing, then you can attach that, or you can refer that to a public website where they have all the content and things like that. So if you want to ground that information there, you can use that as well. So I'm not gonna use that. So you can clearly see that this step is clearly optional. You don't have to provide that. I'm gonna tell the Copilot that, hey, I will provide the source later. So I don't want to attach any knowledge source at the moment. I'm just still refining the instruction. It is telling, hey, you can try out the Garden Whisperer agent in the separate chat window, right? Feel free to continue exploring the Copilot Studio and add more functionality to enhance the agent. If you have further refinements and update, I'm here to assist you. So I can put more instructions, things like that. So it typically, so far when I used to create this agent, it asks what type of behavior it should follow, like how should the agent respond and things like that. I always tell to respond friendly, keep a professional tone, things like that. It hasn't asked me that yet, but it doesn't matter whether it asks you or not. You can always provide that. So I'm telling the Copilot, whenever you respond, use a professional and yet a friendly tone. So I'm going to send that. So you can see that the more and more instruction I give, the things on the right hand side is changing as well. Even the tips or the description and everything is changing. So while that is happening, you can actually spin up into a different layer of configuration. So if you are not satisfied with what you provided here, you're not satisfied with what you have seen so far here, you can click on this configure button. This allows you to either choose a template to add on top of it, change the icon, name, description all by yourself by typing it. So you can see that description, you can go even further and add up to 1000 characters, or instructions. So you can see that based on what we have provided, it has 3 instructions so far: providing advice tip, tailor advice to different types, and finally highlight the importance of nature and plants and flowers. And the last instruction I've gave is use a professional yet friendly tone in responses. So these are the instructions, but if you want to add more, all you have to do is put an enter key here, give a hyphen, and then provide your instruction. So it is going to follow that instruction. The knowledge source we are not adding now, but we will come to these exercises later. Knowledge sources, web search, and all of that is being left empty. I'm not going to choose the code interpreter or image generator at the moment, and I'm not going to modify any of the starter prompt as well. So what I'm going to do now is, based on all the information I have given so far, I'm going to hit create. Once you hit create, first and foremost, you have this link. So you can copy this link and share with somebody. So this could be anybody within your organization. So you cannot share this with anybody outside of your organization as of now. If you share with anyone within your organization, they will be able to use it. We will come back to this particular link later, like how we can share it, how somebody else can access it, different types of permissions available and things like that. We will talk about that later. But now let's go and use it yourself. So now to test it yourself, click on go to agent. So when you click on this actually takes you to the real agent experience. You can see that if you have added this agent by going into click on get agents, this is how it will add. So now you can see that it is already pinned on your right hand panel. There is a name, there are some startup prompt and things like that. So now to interact with this agent, if I want, I can ask some question here, or I can click on an suggested prompt. We haven't even modified any of the prompt. These are some suggested prompt. So I'm going to click on the first one. How can I keep my indoor plants healthy and vibrant? Send. Right, it is already started populating. Fantastic. Now if I scroll back up, it's saying that hey, keeping the indoor plant healthy and vibrant require combination of proper care, attention and things like that. Because in the instruction we provided something like hey, always give detailed response. That's why you can see there are quite a lot of good information here. It tells that hey, ensure the plant receive the right amount of light, watering the plant according to the specific need. Overwatering can lead to some problem with the root and things like that. Underwatering can cause some other harms. Humidity is another important factor, temperature, soil, fertilizing, pruning, and if you have any pest, what can you do to keep that away. So this is quite fascinating. So if I am a garden supplier, garden necessary equipments and fertilizer supplier, or like I have an indoor plant barn or things like that, then I can create an agent and attach this particular agent in my website. So rather than just going through all the content within the website, they can ask additional question. It can support me with some suggestions, things like that. So this is quite good. So now if I go to new chat, even if I ask some questions which is not part of it, if I ask some additional question, hey, how can I take care of money plants? That is not part of this prompt. So let's see if it comes up with a response. So it tells, first of all, money plants is how we in India call pothos. So it tells that, hey, taking care of money plant, it understood it's a type of pothos, is quite simple and rewarding. First, it need prefer bright but indirect sunlight. And then you need to water money plant with the top inch of the soil feels dry, but you should not over water. Humidity is quite important. It has some suggestions on temperature, soil, fertilizing. So it's quite good. So any question I ask, it is going to give me all of these suggestions in a very detailed format. So it doesn't matter whether you use the prompt which provided, or you can interact with it using any of the question you may have. So now that's the end of this. The next section, we are going to learn how you can customize this agent further. Customize an existing agent what you created. You can go back to create an agent. When you do that, at the moment, the experience of customizing the agent is when you click on create an agent, you can see on the top of the window, top of the agent creation button, there is a my agent option. So click on the drop down. That allows you to switch between the agent you created. So if you want to go back to a particular agent, you can click that, or you can click on view all agents. So herein you can find all the agent you have prepared. So if you want to customize an agent, hover your mouse over that agent and you can click on this edit button. If you are here to share it with somebody, you can click on the share button or ellipsis to download the zip file, and we'll talk about that later, downloading and what you can do with it. But now let's click on the edit button. So it takes you directly to where you left off. It allows you to further modify the instruction, further modify the knowledge source, further modify the prompt and things like that. There are a lot of things you can do as an individual user or the personal owner of that agent. Now first and foremost, let's go and modify the icon or the image of the agent. So if you click on edit, this allows you to change the icon, and there is some recommendation or prerequisite for an icon. So you can see that you can upload an icon for an agent, but the icon should be in a PNG format and it should be less than 1 MB size. So I have prepared an icon which is less than 1 MB, and I made sure that it is a PNG file. So you can either set a background color as well. So I'm going to click on change the icon, go to the folder where I have the icon. You can see that the file is a PNG format and it's only 61 KB. So click yes. So this allows you to set the icon. So now we have modified or customized the agent to have a new icon. So if I scroll back up on the right hand side, I can see that instead of the default icon, I can clearly see there is a new icon for the agent. So you can click on update. So any changes when you make, if you want that to be reflected in the main app, you have to update the agent. So now if I click on go to agent, you can see that the Garden Whisperer agent have a new icon. So that's one of the customization we have done. Now we can do further customization. I just now got an idea that, okay, while I'm doing these customization, we can probably create different version of these agents so that we can finally compare all of that. First, before we create another customization, let me rename this existing agent so that you will finally understand what I am trying to get at. So I'm going to go to create an agent, view all agent, click on Garden Whisperer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first rename this agent into garden and we're going to call it as basic. The basic will have the basic instruction what we provided so far. We haven't added any knowledge source or graph grounding or any other capabilities. All we have done for the basic was added some instruction and added the logo of the agent. So click on update and click on go to agent. Now it should change to garden basic. So what I am going to do right now, when you hover your mouse over that agent on the right hand side, you have an ability to pin it. When you pin it, it is going to be on top of the agent. So let's click on pin. So the garden basic is pinned.